Limestone,
Yes.
7-3, two primary scorers, much like Ish Sanders and Antoine Davis, Josh Odom, P.J. Foster
Right.
lead the way with 36 combined.
Yeah.
Saints are pouring it in. What's it take to stop them?
Well, first of all, they are a team that the adage "live by the three, die by the three." I think that really sort of applies. They're averaging, I think, between 11 and 12 made threes a game. But those two kids in particular, Foster and Odom, are very, very capable. And I think the comparison you made to Ish and Antoine is accurate from the standpoint of point production. I'm still going to take my two boys, every day of the week, because of the investment they've made here and the versatility that they both possess. But they're a scary team. I mean, they can make the shot. They don't really play a traditional game from the standpoint of perimeter and post play. They more or less have multiple players that play the perimeter, but they multiple shooters, all can drive. They're fast. They're quick. They do things, at least based on what we know so far. They like to use the ball screen, and against the zone, you would initially think that ball screens against the zone would be easy to sort of deal with, and there is some truth to that. But when you have multiple ball screens within the same possession, you can an offensive attack that does that can sort of distort the zone and can almost, if you're not really prepared and really focused, can get it out of whack a little bit. So again, with what they do, shooting the ball and with that ball screen attack, I think it'll be a great challenge for us.
And both Foster and Odom can pour it in from deep, especially Foster. 2/3 of his field goal makes and attempts come from beyond the arc. You talk about ball screens. Is he a pull-up guy? Is he shooting it in the flow of the offense? What's he doing to
No, he's aggressive. He's aggressive. He's great. He can create his own shot off the dribble. He can pull up behind the ball screen. He can come off the ball screen with a step-back move. Obviously, he can shoot the catch shot. But when guys are versatile enough to create their own shot with the dribble, then they become much, much more tough to deal with. He and Odom can both do that. But again, they're not just a two-man show. They've got other guys. They've got 5 guys, I think, that are averaging double figures. And, it's the other thing about Foster, you don't even know him. I think he actually is the NCAA Division II leader in total made threes this year. And I think he's the Division II leader in threes made per game. So, it's going to be interesting because, of course, we got a couple of guys that can shoot the ball pretty good too. So it could really be quite an interesting kind of game.
He's at least near the top with 4.1 or 4.7 a contest. I'm not certain with the newest batch that came out. He has led it at different points this season, but I'm not sure if he's still up there. And you bring up the multifacetedness of their attack. They've had 4 different players who have had 20-point nights. And you often talk about, okay, we can slow down the primary guy, but then, the unknown factor will come in and step up. How do you
We've played teams like this before. The first year we started playing this style defensively, we played a king team in here that jumped up there. It was actually maybe first 2-3 games of the year, and they jumped up there and made, I think, 21 threes on us. And we were not prepared to respond to that. Since then, we've made, this whole defensive experience, as I'll call it, it's morphed, it's changed, it's gone so many different directions. I think now our guys are confident and they know that we can make about any adjustment we need to make to be able to defend a certain area. Are we right in our adjustment every time? No, but we've been right a lot more than we've been wrong with the adjustments. And in this particular game, I like to think that we'll be able to stymie the balance of their scoring. That's one of the things I think that people don't understand when you play like this. It's something I've learned by doing this. Points come from several places. They come in transition. They come inside. They come in between. They come from outside. They come at the free throw line. They come on second, third chances. Well, if you can start within your defensive scheme, if you can start limiting the variety, and you really sort of determine what you're willing to live with, then I think you have an advantage, you know. And so we think we know that most teams can't produce enough points from beyond the arc to win. Most teams can't do that. I mean, even if you make 23s in a night, that's 60 points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, most college teams are going to score more than 60 points. And again, to make 21 threes means you've taken a lot of threes, and when you're taking a lot of threes, then you're not taking a lot of interior shots. You're not penetrating necessarily a lot to get to the free throw line. There are just so many things to consider. So I'm not that worried about just their three ball, even though it is something to consider. But again, I think because they have so many potential shooters, I think we'll have to be extra conscientious about how where they're at positioned around the perimeter and making sure that we get there to get the adequate contest.
Does it help that you're coming off of a game against LR? Or I don't think it's fair to say that you struggled to defend the three-point arc because you guys had hands and faces all night long. LR was just burying them. But where you come off of a game where the defense at least appears susceptible to a three-point barrage.
Well, I think what we did there, and this was my mistake completely. We extended, and any solid opponent will attack an extended defense by going inside, whether it's with the pass or the dribble. And really, I think what got us was the variety again. I mean, if you think about the other ways they scored the ball, I mean, they got into they passed into the high post, and then dumped it down to the basket and got some easy high percentage shots there. They, I think 10 of their 11 made threes were a byproduct of dribble penetration, where we extended and they attacked us with the hard dribble, and we're so cognizant of not fouling that we didn't body penetrators, so they got into the paint and would make the kick. Shooting a shot from long range where the pass is coming from inside is easier than shooting a shot from long range when the pass is coming from outside. And, we know that, we knew that, and still I felt like the plan we had was the right plan at that time. And in all honesty, I did not do a good job of making the necessary adjustments, defensively speaking, to correct my poor judgment on that scout. So, again, I'm like these players as well. I'm learning and growing, and I'm constantly trying to find better ways to make this thing work. And I feel like that experience will definitely help us going into the Limestone game.
It's Community Appreciation Night at Holt Fieldhouse on Wednesday night. Bring a can of food and get into the game for free. Again, really a fantastic doubleheader.
Yep.
Non-conference doubleheader between both the women and the men. Lady Eagles at the top of the SACS standings, 5-0, take on a Kentucky Wesleyan team that made the NCAA tournament from a year ago, and then of course the men's team against Limestone at 7-3, and the Saints, an NCAA tournament participant a year ago. Just how meaningful would a crowd be on a December 18th when the students aren't around? And last year for the Queens game when you race past Queens, there weren't a lot of fans in the stands.
There weren't, and in all honesty, it was one of the all-time great individual performances by Antoine Davis.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he had 36, and just absolutely, he looked like a pro. He looked like a pro that night, and at this time of the year when kids aren't having to deal with the pressure of academic performance, and they can sort of really put more time and focus and attention to these games, I think you can really find some good quality games from the end of finals to that point of time when guys go home for the break, and knowing the history that Limestone has, the fact they've been an NCAA tournament team even this past season, and knowing once you've tasted that, that's your new norm. That's where you always want to be. Knowing that we're aspiring to be that, I think this Wednesday game could be an absolute blast. So I really want to encourage people here in our town to get out there and have fun with it. Obviously, our students are going home for the holidays, so there'll be plenty of seating. and and again, it's a Wednesday night. Maybe bring your church youth group in there for that game, and come enjoy it and help cheer us on, hopefully to a win.